Hello friends, welcome to another session of video tutorial on TestNG. In today's session, we are going to cover factory annotation. Please subscribe, like, share, comment the videos on this channel. If you have any training inquiries, please contact me at techtrainerraj@gmail.com. Okay, let us begin by looking at factory annotation. By using TestNG, there are three ways of running multiple test cases. One is using testng.xml file, which we have already covered in the earlier sessions. The second one is using runner class, which we are going to cover in the next session. And in today's session, we are going to cover the factory annotation. The factory annotation in TestNG helps you to run multiple test cases. What does factory annotation do? Factory annotation marks that method as a factory that returns objects that will be used by TestNG as test classes. The method must return an object array. Whichever the method which is annotated with @factory annotation, that returns an object of test classes. Since it is an array of test classes, TestNG will read all these classes and will run those classes. Okay, let us see an example. Let us flip over to Eclipse. For this, I am going to make use of the TestNG demo project which we have created earlier. And under source main Java, I'm going to create another package. So right click on source main Java, click on new and select the package. So this I'm going to call it as edu.RajTech-Trainer. Dot factory. Okay, click on finish. Inside this, I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call it as factory test1 or factory1 test. Okay, click on finish. Inside this, I'm going to have test annotation with the method public void so I'm going to print something here. So factory one test method. I'm going to import this. Now we have created one class which has got one method which has got test annotation. The same way, I'm going to copy this and paste it into the same package, but this I'm going to call it as factory2 test. Okay, and I'm going to change this to factory2 method. Okay, so now I have two classes. One is factory1 test and factory2 test, each of them having one test case each. I'm going to create another class here. New class. I'm going to call this as factory runner. Click on finish. and here I'm going to use factory annotation. So here public object array, because from the slides what we have seen is the method must return an object array. Okay, whichever the method with factory annotation must return an object array. So run test. Okay, I'm going to import this first. Okay, so now new object array. So here I'm going to create new factory 1 test. Okay, I should add return here. Okay, so this method is returning an array of object which is containing the classes which it needs to run. Currently it is going to run only the tests which are available under factory 1 test. If I right click on factory runner Java, I don't get that TestNG test here. So for that I'm just going to add a test here without having any method associated with it. Okay, so there is no method associated with the test annotation, and I'm going to run this as TestNG test now. So what I'm expecting when I run this TestNG test is it should go to factory 1 test and run all the tests there. Okay, as you can see from here, it went to factory 1 test and it printed factory 1 test method in here. So if I want to add another class to this array which is going to go and run those tests, put a comma here and new factory 2 test. Whenever I run this as a TestNG test, if it finds a factory annotation, it goes and runs the classes which are in this object array. All those enabled test cases will be run. So far I have one test case in factory 1 test and another test case in factory 2 test class. Okay, so let me run this now. Run as TestNG test. This time it ran 2 tests. First it ran the factory 1 test and then the factory 2 test. So let me disable this. Okay, and rerun this. Okay, since I have disabled the test under factory 1 test, it went and ran only factory 2 test. Okay, let me enable this back. Okay, so this is how we can run multiple tests using factory annotation. So let me add one more test in here. So I'm going to call this as factory 1 method 2 method 2. Okay, so again if I run this, it will run all those tests. So 3 tests are run. So all factory annotation is doing is whatever the test cases which are available in those classes, if they are enabled, then they are run. So if there are any input parameters which you need to provide to these classes, then you can create a constructor and then pass in those values from the new object which is being created under factory annotation method. Okay, like any other Java class. Okay, so this is how we can make use of factory annotation to run multiple classes and multiple test cases. That is the end of today's session. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the latest updates.